So now you're hopeful that he'll not do it again.
No, I just think it's funny. Now we're back in on Justin Fields, and we're back in on Justin Fields, and oh gosh,
we're cautiously optimistic about Justin Fields.
I think you said it perfect, Joe, in the text, dude. We're all hurt that he wasn't it. Okay? And I'm still super concerned. I'm still super cautious, right?
Yes.
It was fun to watch.
Yes.
But I don't want to have to take Caleb Williams, but in a year where there are two potentially franchise-changing quarterbacks, it'd be okay if Justin sucked ass and we figured it out that he wasn't it early, right? Now he has 2 good games. If this continues, I said that's what I've been saying. If it continues, I said at least 50% of the rest of the games have to look like this for him to fucking bounce back.
Yeah.
Welcome to Believe in Monsters.
Yeah, go ahead and intro us in. This is going to be a good conversation, I think.
Oh, we already did. We're going.
I know. We're a little cold open. It's the Believe in Monsters podcast. You're listening to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Amazon. You can follow us on Twitter at BIM_pod. My man Luke Berry on the ground. And the last 2 Bears wins. Follow him at LBerry_40. Yeah. And follow Chris Krogman at Shy Bears 1985. I am Joe Gaither at Joe Gaither 6. And we are here to talk about a Bears win.
And Joe is unhappy.
Fuck? No, I'm not happy, but I'm not. Yeah, no, you're right.
I'm not happy.
Therapist, I'm not happy. I'm still not happy. No, yeah, I'll say that. I'm not
stoked.
happy. But the thing is, the best thing for this franchise is Justin Fields doing what he did on Thursday, continuously. Like, you don't want to tank and use the number 1 pick on Caleb Williams. And that's where my aggravation has been for the last 4 or 5 weeks is we automatically determined he's not it. And yeah, he didn't play well the first 4 weeks. And you can talk about the Broncos game being a good performance or not, but we were right here on this podcast after the Broncos game complaining about late game decisions and late game turnovers. And look, it just shows he can have 3 good quarters, but then the 4th quarter when winning time comes, he sucks. And blah, blah, blah. Let's go get Caleb Williams.
I still said that he looked shaky as shit in the second half. It wasn't just the 4th quarter and the interception. He looked indecisive the whole second half of the game. Against the Broncos, he looked indecisive and didn't know what he was doing. They started playing a lot of zone. He started forgetting what to do when they ran zone.
So we can't call that a good game. So we're on 1 good game. We're not on 2. We're on 1 good game.
1.5 because he had a good first half against the Broncos.
I do think you got to give him a nice credit. Dude, the first 3 quarters, I know, Chris, you're basically right. Yes, the whole second half of that Broncos game was not great on offense. For the most part, though, Fields was pretty lights out in that. I mean, whatever happened in the 4th or not, he was. So, you got to give him credit for that game.
They ran the ball a ton in the 3rd, but whatever. That's fine. We're going to give him 3 quarters, super duper. Like I said, dude, I need to see more. It's exciting. Don't get me wrong. Joe, you're absolutely right. I am 100% going to be a flip-flopping son of a bitch because it's exciting. And it's aggravating at the same time. For every bad thing that happens to a Bears fan, it's, oh, fuck, here we go again. And we have every goddamn right to be that way. And any amount of good quarterback play, we have every single right to blow our load early and often and get all excited for nothing. This is the ebbs and flows and roller coaster of being a Bears fan. And you've been on it. You know, you're still probably a Mitch fan. You wouldn't hate it if he came back.
I'm always a believer in the guys. I always am a believer in so it broke my heart. It broke my spirit. My spirit is still broken over what has happened with Justin Fields. It's still broken. Was the game fun on Thursday? Luke can tell us all about it, and I do want to hear a blow-by-blow perspective. It was fun to be scrolling on my Twitter and having people say, oh, Bears, Joe, oh, my gosh, getting lots of texts from people who knew that I'm a Bears fan and like, oh, my gosh, look what they're doing for you. It's your birthday tomorrow. Good job. They're winning for your birthday, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, is it fun in a vacuum? Sure. But it just convolutes. And it just complicates a lot of the big picture decision making, a lot. And so, yes, you want to go back to Mitchell Trubisky?
Good
yes,
problems.
I believed in Mitchell Trubisky until the Chiefs game that Luke was at, and that was like his third to last game or whatever. Like, and I still kind of think that you could probably scheme around him. I think you can scheme around Justin Fields and put him in good positions. You saw it on Thursday. What, 15 for 29, 282, 4 touchdowns, 11 rushes, 57 yards. So you go, what, right at 320 some odd yards total, 4 touchdowns. Yeah, no turnovers. Great. We can win with this guy. But
so here is the engine to our success, though, and it doesn't matter how you divvy them up, but a lot of other Bears quarterbacks didn't have a DJ Moore, and the last wide receiver we did have, a Brandon Marshall and Alshon Jeffrey, played for Cutler, who brought us to multiple NFC Championship games, or 2, right?
Yeah,
he
2.
brought us to at least 2, yeah. So whether how much he factors in that equation or not, yeah, of course you can win with a guy like Justin Fields if you surround him with weapons like that. I mean, I think right now Justin Fields actually leads the NFL in passer rating beyond 20 yards. So, while there are areas of his game that obviously we're concerned about, I mean, we've always liked this deep ball since college. So there is, a lot there to work with. It's fun though, Joe. I mean, shit, dude. I think a lot of Bears fans are coming to the realization that, hey, if the Panthers are going to suck, that's not even a question. They are going to suck. Like, you're
Already
guaranteed
suck.
almost. Yes, but like I'm just saying, like they're most likely realistically not climbing out of the top 5.
Agreed.
I think a lot of Bears fans are even thinking like, hey, if we can, if Justin Fields is, quarterback 10 to 15 in the NFL, but you surround him with talent, you use 2 high picks on a wide receiver and no lineman. Yeah, you can win with that, Joe. So I think that's what people are realizing. Like, even myself, hey, maybe if Fields is just good enough, we can get away with not taking Caleb Williams and, going to get him other help in the offseason. So,
and that would be the quickest path to success.
Right. And that was your point before. I apologize because I did not see that, but because we all talk about having, the biggest and greatest quarterback. But like I said, if Fields is good enough, I mean, obviously we want him to be toward the top of the NFL, but if he's good enough and you can win with him, you're not resetting, you're not going back to, you're not starting over again, basically.
And probably that's been my biggest source of sourness, is realizing, we might have to go start over again. We might be starting.
Which sucks, because it puts you back at least 2 years, most likely 3.
Yeah. But you use these 2 top 15 picks somewhere, you honestly, you trade. If
you're saying top 15, so it sounds like you're confident the Bears win a few more games there, buddy.
If you play like that, then, I mean, you put up 40 points against a good defense. Like, you go back to our conversation after the Packers game, and we're talking about, this defense sucks ass. You're going to have to start outscoring people. Well, you put up 40 fucking points up in an NFL game on Thursday. And yeah, it's Thursday night. You got to kind of take that into a little account, but you're still out there playing. Can the Bears win to get to 5 and 12, 6 and 11? Certainly. I went into fall camp thinking, man, this team, we talked about it right before we cut live. This team could be a 10-11 win team because the schedule is so bad. The schedule's not that good.
The schedule's bad still, yeah.
Yeah, and the rest of the way is not that good. So you play well, you build some confidence. Now you're going to have to talk about some running back injuries. You can win games. Fields, look, you go 2 straight weeks of over 300 yards of total offense, whether it's in the ground or on the air. Like, you don't have to have him be Patrick Mahomes. You can have him be a top 5, top 8, top 10 quarterback and put other guys around him, add some defensive help. Good God, get me a defensive lineman. You have pieces to build on. The coaching has just super depressed me. Now, Thursday, looked okay.
Yeah, so that's what I was going to say. If you inject this offense with so Thursday we saw some creative wrinkles in Luke Getsy's playbook. I mean, I think QB School was saying how one of the quarterback counters that Fields ran, he's never seen before. And he's like, I'm sure they stole that from somewhere. but this is just a unique idea to get the ball in Fields' hand. Like, and they did
That
it
was a
multiple
cool. That was a
times.
cool play.
It was a cool play. They had multiple creative designs. He didn't get cute on third down. He did the freaking tush push with his 240-pound quarterback.
Perfect.
I mean, it's the basics. We dialed up more deep balls for DJ Moore. And the ironic part of this is I think the offense looked more like what Nagy ran. DJ Moore was running stop routes all night in little hitches, and Emmanuel Forbes couldn't keep up with him. And then they started hitting him with the double. Dude, it was like watching the Nagy playbook all over again. And it's just so funny it worked out that way.
Well, because Fields is like,
oh, and DJ Moore had basically all the wide receiver catches, but when you have a guy of his caliber, that's totally fine.
yeah, of course. Fields needs like, I don't want to say needs it dumbed down, but like, let's do quick decisions. Let him get through his thought process quickly. And you see that on Thursday. Oh, stop route, throw it. Oh, stop route, long shot, throw it. Oh, move quick.
I mean, we've talked about this before. I mean, Tom Brady made a living throwing slants. I mean, Patrick Mahomes for years has thrown to guys who are fast as hell and just yards after the catch. I mean, yeah, sure, they're easy yards, but all the great quarterbacks do it. Chris, how did you feel watching this game on TV, man?
I gotta tell you, man, I was waiting for the other shoe to drop most of the game, but
it felt like that for a little bit in the third quarter too.
Yes, it did.
You mentioned, Joe, that they put up 40 points. Thursday nights are usually low-scoring shit shows, but they missed a couple too. You know, they missed multiple. They missed DJ on the stop and go. They missed DJ stepped out of bounds on that one,
and he missed Mooney.
And he missed. Well, Mooney fucking stopped, but
no, not on that one. He missed Mooney in the end zone too.
Oh, well. First play of the game, he didn't miss Mooney. Mooney decided to stop running. It was fun, man. I mean, it was like I don't know. It was both. Like, it was weird. Like, I couldn't decide if like the Commanders' defense was overrated or like our O-line just started playing extremely well against one of the best defensive fronts in football. Like, that was strange. Like, and it wasn't just schemes and gadgets and shit. And I think Getsy, to Michael Gus's point, has been doing the same shit pretty much all year. It just started to work because people started to execute and they started to do things right. And I want to see them continue to run the ball. It's gonna be tough without Herbert and potentially Roschon, unless his head is just better than everybody else's that coming back from a concussion. Weird. It's weird that D'Onta Foreman has not seen the field much. It's super weird, but whatever. I mean, I guess Travis Homer plays a better special teams. So,
but hey, dude, Foreman is good. And that's what I was trying to tell people in the offseason too. Is like they're like, oh, Foreman should be cut. Injuries freaking happen, man. Here we are playing with our fullback in the third and fourth quarter to seal a game. I mean,
what in the preseason gave anybody the idea that Foreman should be cut?
I've seen a lot of Bears fans say terrible. Just because they're like, oh, we have two good running backs. Roschon is basically in the Foreman role, like he's never going to see the field. I mean, true until you freaking need the guy.
Yeah.
I mean, Herbert out multiple weeks with a high ankle.
San Francisco's been doing this for years. They would do it. They did it with Jeff Wilson and Roschon Mostert and Eli Mitchell.
Yeah, no, exactly. So yeah, thankfully Foreman is here. I don't think there's going to be, I don't think the run game's going to magically just disappear now though, Chris. Like, no. I think Foreman can handle that. Yeah. But sorry to interrupt, dude. You're right though. The offensive line was dominating. The first play where Tevin was killing that dude, man, that got me fired up.
I was excited to see Tevin. I wasn't sure how they were going to have Tevin play, but I had a good feeling they would do that whole rotation shit if they did anything. And then Tyree Carter being out there again was different. Larry Borom has not played awful, as bad as I thought he would. One matchup I was watching a lot of was Charles Leno versus Ngakoue. Ngakoue really didn't get him that much. So I thought that was
he just had the one at the end of the game, right?
He had some other pressures, but man, watching that game last night with the Raiders and Packers, man, Max Crosby would look so good in his uniform. Oh my God.
Hey, who knows, man? Maybe they come knocking for that number 1 pick if the Panthers get it.
Dude, he is a freaking animal, dude. Like
Yeah.
him and like I don't know how the Redskins pull off re-signing Chase Young, but he looked fantastic as well.
Yeah. Well, that's your boy Bourne, man. Like you said, he hasn't played in a while, but he did struggle with Chase Young in the middle of that game for a little bit.
Yeah, but like he looked okay against the Broncos. I mean, I'm just saying for like a serviceable backup left tackle,
definitely.
he's been okay.
Right.
Do we miss Braxton Jones? Yes. Would we like Joe Alt or Fashanu? Sure, but Borum hasn't been awful. He hasn't been a swinging gate. He hasn't been J Webb Nation bad.
But to your point, Chris, and back to our point earlier, I mean, the offensive line keeping Fields clean. I mean, look what he did with it. Sure, he was only 50% in his throws, but how many big plays did we dial up that game? And then we're even here talking about, he could have had 3 more on top of what we already saw. So, like, just huge for Fields and his confidence in the offense as a whole.
Oh man, the one he missed to Herbert, where he like scrambled,
where he broke his legs,
where he broke his ankle or whatever, and Justin just missed him short. Oh my God. Herbert had like a mile to run ahead of him too. That's the kind of shit I want to see Justin hit more often. It's like similar to that play against Denver last week where he kind of ran along the line of scrimmage and then just chucked it to Cole Kmet in the end zone. Like, I love that threat. That just, I'm going to run it. Oh, hey, nope. No, I'm not. I'm going to throw it right over your head and touchdown. It's like a floater in basketball. It's like a total fuck you play.
Speaking of this, I need to let's put a timeout right here, and I need to ask Joe about this. Joe, I know you have never been a massive Cole Kmet fan. Why does he get so much hate, man? He's having a good year. I think he's a good tight end.
He is a good tight end, and
he's not Kelsey.
Most of the discussion that I put out on this show over 2 years ago was when I was really doing that shtick. Was more so to get Krogman fired up. That was all.
I think Twitter caught on though, man. Like he gets a lot of hate, dude. People hate that guy.
QB school did it.
He's a good player. He can block.
We've got other guys like Raul, and for some reason, like a lot of the analytics dudes that like the Bears don't like Kmet. I don't get it, man.
Like who?
I've seen a ton of these accounts that like pump out statistics. None of them like Kmet ever. They're just like, why is Kmet running this route?
One guy we F with a lot of the way he talks about football is Brad Spielberger, mainly because it's roster building and trade back and, spend your nickels and dimes very carefully. But it comes down like he loves Kmet and he's a PFF guy. So he's like, is he elite Travis Kelce style? No. Is he a top 6 tight end in the league? Yeah, he is.
Yeah. He's pretty. Yeah. No.
I mean, I guarantee you, if we could go back and redraft on fantasy football day, he's going early and not early, but like he's at least getting drafted 8th round or 8th to 10th round instead of like a free agent.
But the pure irony in all of this is that a lot of I think this stems from the year he was drafted because a lot of people didn't want him, and it was basically like, not the best kept secret that the Bears were going to take the Chicago kid. But everyone wanted Claypool. That's the irony in all this.
Yep.
They all wanted fucking Claypool.
That is so Bears. My God.
Okay. Okay. I'll write that down as well. Luke, before we keep rolling and get too deep down the rabbit hole, why don't you give us a report, an on-site report of how the Thursday went from the stands?
All right. So Barry in the stands. Well, first off, my day was lovely. My flight got delayed like 4 hours. So I didn't even get there, but the timing ended up working out because as soon as I landed, my friends were waiting and we went out to the stadium, parking, the lot attendants let us in a closer lot than where we actually wanted to park at. So FedEx Field got some brownie points for me there. The tailgating experience was fun. It wasn't too crowded. We got to play some lock games, shoot the shit with some friends. So all that was super cool. All the Washington fans we talked to in the parking lot were awesome. And then actually going in the stadium, I mean, FedEx Field gets a really bad rap. I didn't think it was bad at all. It was clean. I didn't try any of the food, so maybe that's where people didn't like it. But we were sitting row 2 where the Eagles fans fell in that one time, almost on top of Jalen Hurts. But I had no complaints about the stadium. I don't know why people don't like it so much. Joe, have you ever been there?
No, I never have.
I think I liked it better than MetLife too. I hate MetLife
You-
Stadium.
Did you happen to see the Bears locker room celebration after?
No, but we did see them all going in, and I got a nice few photos of Darnell Wright, a Tremaine Edmonds wave.
Go find
Kevin
that.
Jenkins
Go
wave.
find that celebration, and then just let me know what you think about that locker room,
Eberflus was hilarious in there.
dude. Well, you did see it then. That locker room looks worse than my high school football locker room. That thing sucks, dude.
To be honest with you, I didn't even really pay attention to this.
Well, I'm just telling you, it looks terrible. It's the
I-
worst visitors locker room I've ever seen in my life.
I literally went in that stadium, though, went to my seats and used the bathroom a few times. I did not walk around at all. I'm just saying, from what I saw, wasn't bad.
Sure. Did you run into any other Bears personalities from Twitter? I think I saw Nicholas Moriano was there.
No, I didn't see any other Twitter personalities, but yeah, there was a decent amount of fans there. And I mean, obviously, where I was sitting near the Bears tunnel was packed with Bears fans, but they always travel well.
Yeah, it sounded like it.
We did have our brown bags ready, but my friend said we can't wear them because it's bad juju. He said we couldn't even get a photo in them. And
I saw
then
that.
in the middle of the game, the Washington fans had them on their heads. They were good sports. They were good
That's funny.
sports. They didn't give us too much shit. The game was just awesome, though, man. I mean, just being at the game is different. Like I said, the last time I was there, the Bears won as well in Foxborough. But seeing the DJ Moore breakout game was super cool.
230 and 3 touchdowns. That's freaking nuts.
And then I got a sweet video of him after the game. He was coming in the locker room, and basically my whole section of the stadium was chanting DJ Moore, DJ Moore. It was very sweet. Dude, it was a good feeling. I was just telling Austin, who I was at the game with, just seeing how happy the players were that they finally won made me genuinely happy for them.
Yeah.
They were so happy.
Did you go up to where the Thursday night crew was at? Fitzpatrick and Whitfield and all those guys after the game? That there was so many Bears fans there. I was wondering if you had gotten up there and gotten in that crowd, but it was just a sea of people screaming "Go Bears!" And Fields ended up on set, though he gave a lot of love to the fans post game.
Oh, nice. Yeah, basically since we were right next to the tunnel, we were waiting for them all to come in. So like I said, they kind of came in one by one. I mean, we were super close to them. It was actually really funny. Jeremy Fowler actually came out of the Bears locker room at the end of the fourth quarter. And I didn't know who it was. I just saw him from the back. And Austin was like, oh my God, that dude's got really nice hair. And he started laughing about it. And we just kept going. We're like, oh my God, this dude's got the greatest hair ever. And I kept telling him, I'm like, let down that Lechuga, baby. And he was dying laughing on the field, but he didn't turn around. And then after the game, we looked it up. We're like, holy shit, dude, that was Jeremy Fowler.
Dude, that's funny. That's awesome.
So the game experience was A+.
That's awesome. That's great. What about in the you said you were during the tailgating? Were you hanging out with other Bears fans? Were you were they local? Were they from anywhere? Did you get to hang out with?
We had 4 of us from our group there. We were playing some beer pong, though. We had some random people come up and challenge us. Obviously, we won.
Of course. Yeah,
there was a few Bears fans that came and hung out with us as well. They just kind of showed up and were like, hey, can we jump in with you guys? We're like, sure. And they just hung out with us all night. I don't even know if I know their names, but yeah, I guess
shout out to those guys.
I guess the other 2 guys were locals, and I don't know who they were cheering for. They were wearing Toyota shirts. I think they were honestly there to hustle us or try and hustle us, but it didn't work.
They got smoked in beer pong. You got them so drunk. They're like, we were trying to hustle you, but now we're hammered.
Well, dude, we beat him once, and then the guy was like, you're standing too close to the edge of the table. You got to back up. So he sets up a line with a beer cup, 3 feet back. And then in the middle of the game, he was like coming over to like look at our feet. For like, we ended up beating him anyway. And then he's like, we're playing for like, a few bucks. And he's like $200. And we're like, all right, dude, you're definitely trying to hustle us. Like, get out of here.
Yeah, that's not a thing that's going to happen right now.
I don't know though. I think if they were trying to hustle us, they wouldn't have lost 3 in a row. But I wasn't putting $200 down on a game of beer pong with some guy in a Toyota shirt.
People get shit faced, and all of a sudden they get
dude, they weren't. What happened was we were just playing, and they literally pulled in the parking lot and like just parked near us, and we're like, we're up next. It was a very weird situation. Like they just kind of walked up, like they pulled in, walked up to us, said they were playing, and that was it.
They weren't even going to the game. They just show up to random parking lots and challenge people to beer pong.
Dude, I don't know. They were wearing Toyota shirts.
We got
bizarre,
next.
Dude.
All of them were wearing Toyota shirts? Did they work at Toyota?
I guess it was 2 guys just in Toyota shirts challenging us to table games.
What kind of Toyota shirts? Like a button up or like a polo?
Like a polo. Like a polo. Like
Okay.
they looked like they were salesmen.
Sales guys. Okay. Yeah. Those assholes in sales.
They got off work and they're like, you know what we're going to do? We're going to go down there. We're going to drink a bunch of free beer and steal some money.
They weren't drinking beer. I sure as hell wasn't letting them have a beer with us. I didn't know who they were. They were just very weird how they went about the whole thing. But the other 2 people that were with us were Bears fans. They were super cool.
Nice.
Good experience though overall.
Nice.
And we won.
And we won.
So can we put a petition to have Austin and Luke be the new Bears fans that go to every single game? Sorry, Terrence, you can get the fuck out of here. Or Mr. Bear, you can get on Mr. Bear's crew. George, we got to make it happen because Luke and Austin have to be 2 of maybe less than 100 people that were at the last 2 Bears wins.
we were the only 2.
That's sad that the last win was so long ago.
346 days.
Yeah, they almost pulled the full calendar year of sadness, but yeah. I was legit concerned they were gonna go 0-17. Like they look so bad the first 3 weeks of the year.
But Joe, earlier to your point, you're like, what does it mean? In the grand scheme of things, it doesn't mean a ton. Just the feeling of reliving what it feels like to actually win a game, though, feels nice. That's why we're fans. We live for the wins, the good moments.
But to Joe's point, the implications of things righting themselves,
Yeah,
brings up a lot of big picture questions, right? Do we want to dive into those now or wait until there's a little more sanity around it? I mean, I don't know.
I have 3 topics right here that are more like from this week. If you want to do just before you go into big picture, if you
Go
want.
for it. Let's go.
All right. First thing, we got to give Ryan Poles a little bit of credit. He traded away. He actually got something for Chase Claypool. He ended up dumping Chase Claypool onto the Miami Dolphins in exchange for 2025 draft picks. It's not draft picks this coming spring, but next spring. Didn't think that was going to be possible. First, get your thoughts on get your thoughts on that, Luke. Actually, getting compensation for Chase Claypool.
good riddance.
Well, I think we're all in a dreaming good riddance, but I thought he was just
All
going
right,
to
so-
stay home all year.
Here's the big picture thing. Look at the 2 games he didn't play in.
The team played better, played harder.
The team played a lot freaking better, man. We scored just back-to-back weeks, and I made fun of your boy all off season, but fuck it, ESB will go out there and block his ass off. That's the guy that should be playing.
What I thought was funny, somebody brought up, if that reporter never would have asked him that question about, are they using you wrong? He'd probably still be a Bear. Praise God.
Courtney Cronin, I love you.
He's such a cancer, dude. He's such a freaking cancer. And that's another depressing thing. Is he's such a like the funny thing to me is like I don't remember him being that damn good at Notre Dame to begin with, but
he was never that. He was never
a flash
that good.
yeah, it was a flash.
It was always just like, oh, this guy's
measurables.
humongous and he runs really, and he's Megatron from Canada, whatever.
He's Mapletron. Such a stupid name. He's so stupid. Somebody said that the Dolphins are going to try and use him as a tight end. Like the dude can't block for shit. Like, are you out of your minds?
Good luck with that, Dolphins. Good luck with that.
All right, Joe, and I'm ready to give your boy some flowers. I mean, while we're talking about Ryan Poles, it did take some big stones to trade back and take Darnell Wright instead of Jalen Carter, but Darnell Wright's making me forget really fast about Jalen Carter.
He's a dude.
He's been good. Phenomenal, man. And people will say, oh, he's given up 3 sacks or whatever. Yeah, he gets beat like a rookie from time to time, but I feel like the ups are way bigger than, the few downs he's had this year for me.
Oh, yeah. I definitely agree with that.
What do you think, Chris?
We'll see. I mean, he's a dude. Don't get me wrong, but I guess somebody brought up that I don't know. Carter hasn't played as well lately, so
get your head out of there.
Maybe we'll.
He had some really really great flashes versus the Rams, but I don't think he's been stopping the run as well as people thought so far. But his pass rushing has been pretty incredible. Obviously, still raw. Both still great prospects. I'm just saying Darnell Wright has been very good for the Bears.
Yeah, for sure.
And our boy Gervon this week, man. He was rushing the passer a little bit out there.
He's looked much better.
Week by week, man. And he has no pass rush moves, and it's hilarious. Also, I know we haven't talked about this. Andrew Billings is fucking good.
Yeah, very good.
Andrew Billings is ridiculous this year. Someone said it on Twitter. I think it was Robert Schmitz. He said he's like the free trial of Dexter Lawrence. I thought that was hilarious.
That's funny. That's super funny.
The Bears have low-key been stopping the run pretty well this season, though.
Yeah.
They're one of the top 5 teams in, I think, yards before contact or something like that. So, and Terrell Smith too. I think Terrell Smith had a pretty good game versus Washington.
He had a great game.
Another young kid. So I don't know, man. These draft picks are pretty good, I think.
I would look I think Pickens is the only one who hasn't really shown a ton yet. I still want to see more of a mix and match of Dexter and whoever else, Dexter and Jones or Dexter and Billings. I think Dexter and Jones got some snaps together in the fourth quarter last week against Washington. So I just don't want to see him and Pickens out there by themselves, together. I don't understand the point of that unless it's such a continuity thing with defensive linemen, which I don't feel like it is. It's not like offensive linemen. You don't need to know what your partner's doing. More for defensive ends and defensive tackles because they run a lot of stunts together. But I don't know, man. I just don't.
If you're playing good gap integrity, if you're playing, or if you're just playing assignment football, then
no. Right? Yeah, exactly. Dexter looked good. He's big. He's powerful. Did you see him in or out of the tunnel, Lucas? Did he look like a monster, like a humongous human being?
Who?
Dexter, man, pay attention. Dexter.
No, I didn't know if you meant Billings or Dexter because I was just thinking in my head.
You were Billings. 2 conversations behind. I didn't even talk.
No. But literally, the one guy I noticed running in the tunnel was Billings, just because he's so fucking wide. But Dexter is really tall. You can I don't know. He's kind of lean and tall, but Billings is like a freaking Mack truck, dude.
Right? Dude, they called him undersized on the broadcast. I almost lost it. I'm look how big this man is. And they're like, oh, but an undersized tackle at 313. I'm like, he only weighs 313? No way.
There's no way.
There's no way. I think you got some numbers mixed up. It might be 331.
Billings was like the dude I really noticed going in the tunnel just from like how big and Edmonds actually, Tremaine Edmonds. Gervon Dexter just looks really, really fucking tall.
Is it
And even
Gervon or is it Jervon?
I thought it was Gervon, but I'm not sure. I'm just gonna call him Dexter.
Let's do that.
Dexter.
Or senior. We call him senior. GD senior.
What else is on your list, Joe?
Next one is Braxton Jones, the new version of Charles Leno.
Yes.
Everything he does is crushed in the negative, and we don't really pay attention to any of the positive.
No.
He hasn't played in a few weeks, but yes, I do think he's like Charles Leno.
He's not baby poop soft, dude. No.
Fair.
You never saw Charles Leno fucking destroy people, and you see Braxton Jones get out in the flat and absolutely murder folks.
We like that. Sorry, Miss Leno. Go have another baby. Number 3 is the running back situation. Khalil Herbert, we touched on it just barely earlier. Khalil Herbert rolled his ankle or whatnot. Roschon has a concussion. Foreman is going to be the guy, I guess, this weekend.
And we signed Darrington Evans back.
Yeah, I love that dude. He's played so good last year.
And Travis Homer is hurt.
He played a hammy. Pulled a hammy. He played a hammy. Roschon got that concussion on that play. He got spun around, right? Where he ran into that dude so freaking hard, but he kind of lost the battle. That's what we're assuming.
That play was hard for me to see at the game, so I don't know when he got concussed.
Yeah.
How we feeling about Dante Foreman? Dante Foreman, however you want to say his name, being lead back role this weekend.
I love it.
Let's do it.
I'm good with it. Yeah, I'm fine with it. I'm also excited I'm excited with Evan. Dude, they need to. I'm seriously so pissed about this outside zone thing. They finally did it a little bit against Denver and ended up running too many naked boots and got Justin killed. But come on, man. You see, just everybody does it but us. And we're from a tree that's supposed to do it, and we don't do it. What the fuck, dude? We have the dogs to do it up front. I just don't get it. It just boggles my mind. But Luke Getsy is not pissing me off lately, and the running game looks very good. So I'll live. But Darrington Evans fits that shifty zone back better than probably Foreman does. Foreman's more your power back, so we'll see.
All right. So while Luke was telling us about his, go ahead. I'm sorry, Luke. Sorry.
Well, I was just gonna say, I mean, going into this week, you got to think Foreman has something to prove, right? You think he's really gonna not go into this pissed off that he's been inactive all these weeks? Mm-hmm. I mean, the dude runs and plays like his hair's on fire. I mean, let's do it. Like I said, I'm stoked for him. Let's do it, man. You're the guy. And I also want to give my flowers to the fullback, man. That's a fullback's dream to go in there in the end of the game and get a few handoffs and play running back.
Blasingame. I like him.
He did a good job. And you know what? They were still running actual plays with him. Yeah. They're still calling a few zone runs for him, making him make a decision. So it wasn't like they just babied the dude.
True.
Well, while Luke was telling us his game experience, I wrote down the rest of the schedule. And y'all know how pessimistic I have been really since the Packers game. And I have us going 6-6 the rest of the way for a total of 7-10. Going back to the very beginning of the conversation with how maybe convoluted things are about to get and the fan base on and off with Justin Fields and, oh my God, we need Caleb Williams, is 6-6 the rest of the way, 7-10. Well, that quell things and give the fan base reason to advocate, not that the fans have anything to do with making the picks, but advocate for selling high on the Panthers pick and using whatever we get to supplement this roster and keep Justin Fields.
Oh yeah. I think fans would already be there with 2 more wins. You don't got to tell them 7. For me personally, I that's kind of my expectation though. Like my whole thing about Caleb Williams is if the Bears and their own pick were picking first overall or second overall, then Justin does not deserve to be the quarterback anymore. And that's where I was coming from.
Yeah,
If it's the Panthers pick, and you're picking past 10, yeah, he did his job. I mean, we know the team isn't great. We know they're not winning the Super Bowl, but we got to get to that point still. And that's why we said it earlier, Joe, we're cautiously optimistic that we're heading in the right direction. But there's still a lot of football to be played.
Yep.
And we can't have this roller coaster. We can't have the first 3 games happen again. If that happens again, that's a horrible sign.
Yeah.
Like, that's why Chris and I were so down, because those first 3 or 4 games were they weren't bad. They were awful.
Unwatchable. They're not even competitive.
Right. So, I mean, can you blame fans for really saying, hey, we need Caleb Williams after this? I mean, I can't. I never in my life expected Fields to come out that bad.
All right, there were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 teams last year that went 7-10, and they picked Titans at 8, Jets at 9, Saints at 10, Browns 11, Panthers 12, and Falcons. Well, that's not in draft order, but basically you're drafting from 8 to 13 at 7-10 from last year.
Perfect. Yeah, no, I think that.
You're drafting at 7-10. You're drafting anywhere between probably 7 and 15, 7 and 14.
Right. But context also has to be added to that. Like I said, how consistent are we? How are we playing on a week-to-week basis? If Fields is playing good and they win 1 game, but the defense blows the rest of them, okay, sure, you could have an argument for anything. But, yeah, I mean, at a certain point, he's going to win you some games, so it's not really realistic to even say that.
I'm still firing Eberflus at this point.
They have to. I don't think he could keep his job.
I mean, you're 1-4. You've looked competent in 1 of those 5 games. Well, maybe a little bit in the Broncos game, but you blew up in the Broncos game.
Right, and the one thing he was hired to do isn't good. Oh, he's muted.
Nah, open this microphone.
Yeah, the one thing you hired him to do isn't good. So
yeah, exactly. So I'm still firing Flus, and we'll see where we go from there. Chris, you got any topics?
At 7-10, you're gonna fire him?
Yes.
Well, I was going to say, to Joe's point, you can still make a big change, but without replacing quarterback and resetting everything.
I mean, because here's the wins I have. I mean, I have wins over the Vikings, Raiders, Panthers, Browns, Cardinals, and Falcons. Okay, great. I have losses twice to the Lions, once to the Vikings, once to the Packers, Saints, and Chargers. Like 7-10.
Dude, we're not beating the Packers the last week of the year?
No, not in Green Bay. No.
Damn it, Joe.
We might even get swept by the Vikings. I'm giving the Vikings win this week, but that's me being optimistic. When we go to picks here in a little bit, I'm picking a loss. I was trying to do that. I was trying to put my optimism hat on when I was doing this little exercise.
Well, take it off then and change it.
All right, then that makes us 6-11.
I think
6-11 and getting swept by every team in the division. You're firing Flus.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I think that presents even more of a problem, because now you're on Justin's 3rd NFL OC or play caller, and you either know about him or you don't by the end of the year. That convolutes a whole lot of shit. Then you bring in Ben Johnson or whoever Lucas's fanboy from the Texans is. I just don't want to do that again. I don't want to. I get where you're coming from, but I think 7-10 or 8-9, he doesn't get fired. You double the wins from last year. I don't know, man. That's a hard.
You get swept by the Lions and the Packers.
It's not going to matter. It's not going to matter. You double the wins from last year. You go to like 6-11 or 7-10. I don't think that they'll fire him on that.
I mean, the Vikings and Packers are not good. They're not good football teams.
Hey, did they have the number 1 pick overall last year? No.
But they're still bad.
But they're not us. Bad.
They're not the measuring stick. Like you got to shoot higher than that.
Not really.
Come on, where's your Lovey
The
Smith?
Packers are 2-3. The Vikings are dog shit. We knew this was
1-4.
coming. We knew this was coming because they won so many games by 1 score last year.
Right.
Their defense is dog shit. Like, I didn't realize how bad their defense was. But they can shoot out with anybody.
I don't know, man. I think Flusie's done.
I do too. Unless some of these 7-10 wins come in the division. If you swap out and you beat the Packers and say you lose to the Browns or the Cardinals or the Falcons, whoever, you lose to the Raiders, but you split with the Vikings and Packers, all right, I can buy your argument. But you cannot get swept. But all right, the Lions look like a competent football team. If they sweep us, that just is what it is. But yeah, you should have beat. The Packers are fucking terrible. You shouldn't have gotten blown out by what 25 points at home week number 1 with them.
No.
Period.
I mean, all right. So Chris, just to maybe quell some of your fears, how many? I honestly don't know the answer. Maybe Joe can look it up. How many offensive coordinators is Justin Herbert on? He's on his 3rd or 4th right now, and he's still pretty damn good.
They're fucking shit. They're 2-3 or whatever.
I'm just saying it. It's not like, I feel like you can get your answer at quarterback, and if you think he's it, you could make this maneuver. But really, that's going to come down to Poles at the end of this year saying Poles has to decide whether he wants Fields or he wants whatever other quarterback in the draft before he chooses the damn coach.
I hear you.
Because if he says Fields is my guy, then, that's part of the interview process saying this is your quarterback. Like, that's it.
I don't think
Shane Steichen in 2020, Joe Lombardi in 21, Kellen Moore now in 23. Lombardi was 21 and 23. Yeah.
And he's what, 21 and 23?
No. I don't know what his record is. Let's see. Let's find out.
He's not 6 and 24. I'll tell you that much. Like, I don't want to stick with a bad coordinator just because, but
he's 27 and 26.
I think that becomes a whole chicken before the egg. Kevin Warren after Ryan Poles, all situation. Now we're like swimming uphill again. Like, new coach comes in. I don't think a new coach comes in I don't think a coach is going to come in without the opportunity to pick his own quarterback or at least be involved in the conversation of Justin or not.
Yeah, no, I hear what you're saying. I just think they have to make it clear what their decision is before they go through the hiring process. I mean, it's very well they could be unsure too, but I mean, like,
But
I don't know. If Fields is good and the new guy's just like, nope, I want a young guy. I mean, can you really hire that if you really believe in Fields? That's my point. Like,
I don't
you
know.
need full.
You
full
trade him away
buy-in
to
to it.
Atlanta. You trade him away to Atlanta for 18 first-round picks. You say, Atlanta, how much loot do you have? We'll take Bijan Robinson and 3 first-rounders.
For who?
For Fields.
Oh my God.
Just because Ryan Pace is there.
Nobody's fired at that point. If anybody's given up that amount of capital for Justin Fields at this point,
I know. I'm just teasing.
I think.
But you know what I'm saying,
10-year
Chris?
extension.
It's like, I mean, I don't know.
I don't know. I guess it really comes down to which you think's more important, head coach or quarterback. Because if you're going to put everything as a GM, as a young GM, you're going to put everything and just hang your nuts out there and be like, "This is our quarterback." fucking deal with it. Your coaching tree it's going to get limited.
I mean, wasn't Miami in this situation though? When they hired Mike McDaniel, because they could have, they had.
Yeah, but Mike McDaniel's the kind of guy that doesn't give a shit who his quarterback is. He'll make chicken
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying.
Chicken shit.
Well, what if we need? My point being is the Dolphins were bad, and they had a top 5 pick that year, and they used it on Jalen Waddle. I'm pretty sure, or a top 10 pick. They used it on Jalen Waddle that year, and they said Tua's our guy, and Mike McDaniel got it, and they got a ton of picks for trading. What did the Dolphins? The Dolphins had a ton of picks from trading someone. They traded back, I think, with the 49ers.
They traded back and got Waddle.
Yeah.
Isn't that the Trey Lance year?
Yes.
Yeah. Yep. It was. So it was the year we got Fields.
Yeah.
But I guess my point being is they were in a similar situation.
They didn't have McDaniels. They didn't have McDaniel then.
I thought they hired him with Tua right after that.
No. This is his
second year.
This is his second year?
I think it's his second year.
So they had one. They basically had 1 year of it, but Tua wasn't.
But they didn't have that draft pick then when they hired McDaniel. Is what I'm saying, because that was that was a year before him.
I hear you, but I guess what I'm just trying to say is they were still bad, and they believed in Tua, and that was that. They paired him with the coach, so. I'm not
sure they did necessarily. I think that was a question mark going into that year, but it worked out. Like, yes, it can work out. I'm not saying it can't work out. I'm just saying, like, it's the Bears, dude. Like, nothing like this works out.
Yeah,
it honestly doesn't. Like, I'm with Joe. Like 2 weeks ago, nothing they do is gonna make any. Like,
I hear you.
Doesn't matter if it's Caleb Williams. Doesn't matter if it's Justin Fields. Something's gonna go wrong. Bo Nix, Bo Callahan.
Because that was me on Tua forever, though. That's also what I'm trying to say. Is like I thought Tua stunk. I thought he was horrible. I was like, there's no way this is working.
Well, you also thought Jalen Hurts sucked, so maybe you just can't evaluate quarterbacks.
He wasn't great his first year.
Who Hurts?
They developed the shit out of him, dude.
Sure.
They didn't do anything in his first year. They barely threw the ball.
Luke, maybe you just need to have a little more patience, because about 2 weeks ago you were out on Justin Fields as well, and now you're back in.
Well, I've seen 3 years of Justin Fields, dude. Joe, I already told you again. I know you like getting it stirred up. The fan base is extremes. You can't criticize Justin Fields or else you hate him. But also, if you like him, you love the dude. Trust me, I was excited as you as when we drafted him. He is the most talented quarterback the Bears have ever had. There's not a doubt in my mind about that. There's still a ton of room for him to get better, too.
You never saw Sid Luckman play, bro. You can't say that.
I mean, go back and watch the film, though. Go back and look at some. There's still reasons to be concerned.
Jay Cutler's name.
Jay Cutler is probably the best Bears quarterback ever. Not near as talented as Fields, though.
He still doesn't even have the record for passing yards in a season, though. Eric Kramer still has that. How sad is that?
Well, Justin Fields passed for his first 300-yard game 2 weeks ago, so yay!
Then that's exactly what I was saying, Joe. We're like, oh, yay, we have a guy that passed for 300 yards. We just need to keep doing it consistently. Again, I'm out if we're doing the roller coaster. But if we can build multiple games at a time without falling off the cliff, I'm here for it.
Agreed.
All right,
you can have bad games. I don't think, you can have bad games and still put up decent numbers.
Yeah. I just want to see them play competently. Keep yourselves in the game. Oh, yoy. What do you think about this coming up week? Bears hosting the Vikings. Bears 2.5-point underdog at home. According to ESPN Analytics matchup predictor, the Bears have a 40% chance at winning. Your over-under for all our gambling friends is 44.5 points.
Bears are 5-0 versus the over this year.
Going to be noon and 53 degrees Chicago weather. Beautiful day in Chicago at Soldier Field. Will you see some beautiful football? 2.5-point doggy. Probably no Justin. Oh, no Justin Jefferson on the IR for 4 games for 4 weeks. Kirk Cousins has looked, but they still have Jordan Addison. Their offense looks okay. Their defense looks like dog shit. What are we thinking here? The Bears going to go 2 in a row? 2 in a row?
Little stat nugget: the Vikings offer up the 3rd highest passer rating in the NFL currently.
Who's 2?
The Bears. We are getting healthy this week, supposedly. We will see.
Does that mean that who's
Eddie-
back then? Eddie
Jackson.
Jackson. Is
says
Kyler
on
back?
radio today,
I think
he's not
Jackson
back.
is. I think Jalen is. And I haven't heard about Kyler. I really am hoping for him because I've told you guys before the season he's probably the guy on defense I was most excited for. But shit, man, your boy Greg Stroman, Chris, you have in Madden, was making plays all over the field on Thursday.
It wasn't him. It was Ojimedier or whatever. Michael Ojimedier.
It's Greg Stroman.
It was Greg
He had
Stroman.
a,
Right.
he had a sack and he had
Sorry.
an interception.
That blitz was beautiful.
Dialed up well. Back to the game though, Joe. To be honest with you, I really thought if they had Justin Jefferson, there's no way I would choose the Bears. That guy crushes us. I'm actually a little bit hopeful without him that we could at least slow them down enough because I do think we'll be able to move the ball on them. I don't we've seen Fields play very well versus bad defenses a lot in the past.
Yes,
This thing's
absolutely.
I think 44 is kind of a low number, to be honest with you.
He
I
torched
do
him
too.
last year.
I do too. I just did like an initial thought, and I came up with 58.
These two defenses aren't stopping shit, dude.
No.
Yeah.
And with these, like, the offenses are somewhat decent. It's not like they're bad offenses. Did you wait? I didn't understand your Kirk Cousins sound effect there, Joe. Are you saying
Is he doing well? I haven't.
He's doing very well.
He's leading the NFL in touchdowns.
Oh, damn. All right. All I've been seeing on the Twitter machine is look, we need to tank so we can get Caleb Williams. Get straight Kirk Cousins to the Jets.
Context
Okay,
on that
all
is
right.
Kirk is in a
2,
contract
2,
year, and
3,
they're
4,
probably not going
2.
to re-sign him. So people
He's
are saying
gone.
trade him now.
He's gone. Where's my yardage? 284, 139, 367, 364, 344. Only thrown what? 1, 2, 4 interceptions to 4, 6, 9, 11, 12, 13 touchdowns.
He does the interceptions at back-breaking times, though. It's like the same thing we talked about Fields doing it. Cousins had them on the goal line the other day versus the Chargers and threw one. He just does shit like it all the time. He served up a 99-yard pick six the other day. It's like never change, Kirk. Never change, buddy.
Watching that, I'm late to the party on that quarterback show, but man, after watching that, I really like Kirk Cousins.
He gets a lot of shit
He's a very likable human being.
for sure. But he does throw them picks at awful times.
He does. The bad.
Well, as Matt Eberflus says, whoever wins the ball wins the game. So who's going to win the ball?
I'd like to see him get his hands on some more balls.
His post game was so corny.
Dude, he didn't even know what to say. He wasn't even really happy after that.
Huh? Did we play more physical? Yeah, we did. Did we win the ball? Yeah, we did. No one could be more together than us. Our togetherness. It's like, you're
Were you
cornball.
I guess before we give our final predictions for this week, were you guys surprised, though, that the Bears actually seemed like they cared about last week and came out and fought after that
Yes.
loss to the Broncos? I mean, a lot of it does reflect back on Eberflus and, if the team actually fully quit on him or not.
Totally. I was totally surprised. I'm with Joe. Totally surprised.
Mm-hmm.
And it does seem like they didn't quit.
I thought the Commanders would come out and just daddy smack us because of the
I think we all did, dude. I think that was it. We thought that was the death sentence.
I figured out the key, though, guys. I picked up the Commanders in both of my fantasy football leagues for my my fantasy defense, and they got me a whopping negative 2.5 points. So I'm gonna go see if the Vikings are available right now, just so we can continue this because my fantasy seasons are shot to shit. So I'm gonna go pick up Vikings defense so Justin can torch them.
Minnesota.
I love that video.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
It's a Joe
Just
Biden
a video
photo.
of Joe Biden screaming Minnesota.
Minnesota.
But like when people do like the clip on Twitter, like the caption will be something hilarious, like who's the worst team in the NFL, and it'll just be like Biden saying that.
Oh my god, that sounds awesome.
You gotta love social media. But anyway, 44.5. I mean, Chris, what do we think? And I think over is definitely the play this week.
Oh yeah, big time over. They're scoring 60 plus.
Now the tough part: who wins the game? Who wins the ball? Who wins the game?
I just wrote down top of my head 30-28 Vikings.
Ooh, a back-breaking loss.
I ended with 58 on the over-under as well, but I am look, I'm not gonna buy it until I see it 2 weeks in a row. I'm not gonna buy it. I'm just
And then you're gonna sing the song, right?
yes, I will sing the song if you win two. If the Bears win 2 in a row. Right now, it's still on the. We're not going to sing the song that we sang last week. You can't do that after a win.
The bagpipes.
But I'm just still apprehensive. I'm still guarding my heart. I can't let my heart go and be hurt again.
Will you be tuned into the game this week, Joe Gaither? At least.
He said he was going to watch with you in the stands, Lucas. Joe's never going to watch a game again.
I'm not watching.
He didn't even have the NFL Plus login information. He's so distraught.
I had to
Don't worry, dude. I have the screenshot that Joe can't tell me didn't exist. He was wearing Bears gear the next day.
I was very proud. And you wouldn't believe that the people at that football game that looked at me like a special needs child. They were like, "Oh my gosh, their team won last night. Good for congrats!" And I was like, "Yeah, I shouldn't have worn this." But it was literally like a Make-A-Wish child. Oh, they won last night and for the first time in 25 years. It's like, thank you very much.
It's really not that far off.
All right, so Joe is going with a back-breaking loss that he won't be watching. Chris?
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Because this is what it sets up. Before Chris, give you another second to think about it. It sets up perfectly on paper. The Bears should win. You're coming off a 40-20 win. The offense looks the best it's ever looked. On paper, the Vikings look like dog shit. They've lost their biggest weapon, and you're getting secondary help back. Everything is lining right up for the Bears. This is the perfect time for the Bears to be the fucking Bears and bear again and put up a stinker.
They're going to kick like 100 field goals again. I'll go 36-30 Bears.
Oh,
We're going to get a win. Cousins is going to throw a back-breaking pick six when it's tied 30-30 with like 30 seconds left.
will Eddie Jackson finally get himself back in the end zone?
He deserves. Doesn't he own the Vikings? Isn't that like? It was more the Lions, right?
The Lions, yeah.
Lions. Well, he can get Kurt.
Mitch Trubisky owns the Lions, too. Did you ever see the video of the kid crying in his car? And he's like, Mitch Trubisky is our daddy.
Y'all want to take 2 seconds before Luke gives his prediction to laugh at Jordan Love? His Monday night performance.
Dude. That interception he threw to the middle linebacker was how did we fucking lose to this guy? That's what I want to know.
That's what I'm saying. That should have fired Flues right then. They're not a good football
Father's Day
team.
to all the Bears fans out there.
They're not a good football team, and their game plan against the Bears week 1 was so elementary. Like they didn't ask Jordan Love to do anything special at all, and they won by like what was it, 48 to I don't even remember. It was terrible.
Dude, what's funnier is that the amount of just the way Packers fans are acting. They're talking about firing Matt LaFleur, like blaming the game on him.
Please do. Please do. We'll take that, dude.
That's I'll hire him tomorrow.
Yeah, I will fire Flus and immediately hire Matt
LaFleur. Lucas, you got one guy, Krogman taking 36-30 Bears. I'm taking 30-28 Vikings. Break our tie here. Which way is the Believe in Monsters podcast predicting?
See, it's tough because I really do buy into your Bears theory, Joe. Like, it's very on par for them to come out and shit the bed.
Yes.
But after 2 weeks of pretty good offense, I'm optimistic they'll have another good offensive performance, right? So, and for me, like I told you, I think the tiebreak, I really do think if the Vikings had Justin Jefferson, I would 100% take the Vikings. Chris, would you as well?
Yeah.
All right. Because they don't, I really do. That does give me a glimmer of hope that the Bears are going to win. And I'm in a good mood. I'm going to ride that. And I think the Bears are going to win this week. I think the defense is going to be ugly once again. I think both defenses will be ugly, but I do think Fields will continue to ascend like we all think he should be. I'm going to say 33-27 Bears in a very, very close game. Bears are going to put up like 24 of those or 27 of those in the first half.
That's a fact.
The Bears are a great first half team. If I was a betting man, I would take Bears first half.
I was going to say, what's the Bears first half point total? Probably like 12.
I don't know. All I know is the books are finally probably going to change the DJ Moore 3.5 that I've been seeing every week.
Yeah, that 800 yards is looking really good, Lucas. I was going to talk so much shit after like week 3. Be like, that 800 yards is not happening.
And now?
And now it's pretty much locked. It's like 500. He's already like 550.
Don't say. Dude, that's crazy to say. 550 after 5 games with this dude.
Well, shit, you had half of that in one game, dude.
How about fucking Adam Schefter dropping a little, when he was leaving the Justin Jefferson news? Oh, they're playing the Bears this weekend, and Justin Jefferson has more yards than the Bears ever have.
Yep.
He's not wrong.
No, he's not wrong.
It's a typical footnote to laugh at the Bears franchise and misery. It's been around longer than any other team.
Well, we'll see what happens. The Believe in Monsters podcast is on the Believe Network. You guys can follow us at BIM_pod. Make sure you subscribe, rate, review at Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and all the places that you get your podcasts. You can find Lucas Berry at LBerry_40, Chris Krogman at Shy Bears 1985. I'm at Joe Gaither 6, and as a whole, we are each and every week live on BIM_pod on the Twitter/X machine. The Bears are playing at noon this coming up week. Bears and Vikings noon. The Vikings 2.5-point favorites. We're going 2-1. Our hosts are taking the Bears as Justin Jefferson's absence tips the scales in Chicago's way. So we'll have to see. We'll be back for another episode in another week on the Believe in Monsters podcast next week right here on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and, of course, the Believe Network.